Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hand Spinner Review Spot YouTube channel. You can click the link in the description below to take you over to the Facebook page, and you can contact me there if you want to know anything or if I can be of any use to you. Please hit subscribe if you like what we're doing on the channel, that's really helpful to us. So what are we here to look at today? Well, it's going to be quite a short video because really we're looking at just an accessory, if you like, and what's more, an accessory that I'm not 100% sure if is going to be available. These are some new weights for the Trillium by One Drop. These are an aluminium set, and as you can see, they are much larger than the other ones that One Drop have released so far. And while I'm going to check what the actual plans are for these, and probably add some details on that in the description below, I thought we'd have a quick look at them today and give you a few of my thoughts on whether or not you should consider getting these if they do come out, and also just what I think about the direction of this sort of thing. So, firstly, a couple of specs. As I say, these are aluminium. They're anodised. They're this very rich yellow and blue mixture. As you can see, I've got one button swapped on each side, and I'll come to the reason for that in a second. But as you can see, these are the weights that actually come shipped with the Trillium, and indeed the only sizes that have been produced and made available so far, to the best of my knowledge. These are the brass weights that the Trillium comes with, and the titanium weights, and they've also made some stainless steel weights in the same size as the titanium here. These weights are also subtly different in terms of profile. Not only are these 25mm approximately in diameter, so as you can see they're very large, and they take up, if I balance that on there, they take up a much larger proportion of the arm space and give a very different look to the Trillium. They're also subtly domed on top, and I'm hoping you can see that. The original weights for the Trillium, both styles, are flat on the top of them, whereas these, as I say, have a slight dome with a little bit of a flat spot on top. They're very, very smoothly done. They're beautifully made, as you would expect for anything really from One Drop, and they do work quite nicely. So what do they feel like to use? Well, obviously they're using up quite a lot of space, but it's quite comfortable, and even though these are quite large, the fact that they're aluminium is probably quite a good idea. The reason for that would be that this is sitting at 62 grams as a unit with these buttons, or with these weights I should say, on. And so that still feels very manageable, very comfortable. It still feels quite fast in hand, and because it's got obviously the idea of it being quite large, it doesn't feel terribly dense because it's not that heavy. There's enough space to catch in between them because everything's very smooth. It's still very comfortable to use. For my relatively small hands, this gets a little close, but to be honest, it's still a nice, relatively ergonomic setup. It doesn't feel uncomfortable in any way, and that was quite surprising to me. I was quite expecting this reduction in gap to feel maybe a little bit cramped and not that comfortable. As it is, no, that's really not the case. It actually feels very, very nice. So if they start releasing weights like this, particularly in aluminium in these funky colours, yeah, that shouldn't be too much of a concern unless you have really, really small hands, maybe. The reason that I have these in the setup I do, where you have the colours with one different on each, which I'm sure for some of you would be absolutely intolerable, and to be honest, that maybe isn't the most attractive thing, but the reason I have it, and I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, but I hope you will, you can kind of see it almost gives kind of a flashing appearance, and if you spin slower, almost like one colour is chasing the other colours. I really like that. I think it's fun, and yeah, it just kind of works for me. I quite like that. So overall, I quite like them. Overall, I don't have too many problems. What are the downsides? Well, this is, as far as I'm aware, is a pre-production set, and there are some balance issues with them. This is a modular spinner. I've said before in my other reviews and videos on the Trillium, there are a couple on the channel, and every time you have a modular unit, there's going to be more of an opportunity for some part to be slightly out of tolerance or weight, and as you probably will be able to see, this isn't what you'd call dead stable on single finger spins. Not the end of the world, in all honesty, but even so. The other thing that I think is much more subjective is the fact that these do take a certain amount of the sort of high-end sort of adults carry piece quality away from the Trillium, and maybe make it just a touch more toyish. That may bother some. I would carry it when I was in the mood to like this. It wouldn't really bother me. The connotation isn't really a concern, but it might bother some of you, so it's worth keeping in mind, in all honesty. So there you go. Those are a new potential set of weights. As I say, I'll put a comment in the description below once I've spoken to the guys, but I wanted to get this filmed and ready to go. If these are going to be available, I'm not completely sure, but like I say, I will put a comment there and keep an eye on all the usual places on Facebook and on the One Drop website and such like for any details on them. But if this is an example of one of the directions they're going to take, maybe the more sort of fun and sort of frivolous direction to go with different people wanting their Trillium, I think it's a good step forward. I think there would be a significant demand for people for a set of kind of quirky, unusual, fun weights like this. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like I said earlier, please hit the subscription button. That's really helpful to us. And until next time, I hope you're enjoying your spinners. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.